What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Tonight, I wanted to talk about 1954's Bally Variety. Now, Variety was the first game to feature magic lines. But before we get into how those work, Variety is a single card bingo. You win the indicated number of replays by getting 3, 4, or 5 in a row. To do this, you shoot your balls and land in the trap holes, which correspond with the numbers that you're trying to achieve on the Backglass. This game has advancing odds and pays anywhere from 4 for 3 in a row, all the way up to 64 for 3 in a row, 96 for 5 in a row, all the way up to 300 for 5 in a row. This game has rollovers that, when lit, will spot either the number 10 or 25, depending on which rollover you hit. On the card, the bingo card, you can earn the corners feature, which if you hit all 4 numbers in the corners, then you will earn 200 replays automatically. This game also features 2 super cards. A super card is a 3x3 grid of numbers, and if you get 3 in a row, it scores as 4. Now, this game's main feature is the magic lines. Magic lines were the first moving numbers feature that Bally produced. And the way they work is if you earn the Magic Lines feature on Variety, you get to move all 3 of the Magic Lines without having to earn additional features. So, I have a Magic Lines game where you have to earn each additional line, but in this game, you get all 3 at once, which is pretty cool. Now, when they're lit, there are knobs on the footrail that you turn either to the left or right to move the numbers on the Backglass either down 1 position or up 1 position. Now, if you move the numbers up that are at the top of the card, they will wrap around and display on the bottom of the card. This feature allows you to turn a losing game into a winning game, potentially. You're able to rearrange the first 3 columns of numbers out of 5. Now, you have to do all this before shooting your 4th ball by default. But this game has an extended time tree, and that means that you can extend that all the way up to before you shoot your 5th ball. Now, the beauty of this, well, there's a couple beautiful things. The game actually knows which position that the numbers are in, so it will light the appropriate one. But one thing that I really enjoy about Magic Lines are the unique sounds that they make. And if I was more on the ball, I would record those. I'm sure I will at some point when I get into the technical aspects of Magic Lines. But they make this cool kind of cross between mechanical and beeping. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's really fun to experience because there's really nothing like it. So this game also has the ever-popular extra ball feature. You can get up to 3 additional balls to play after you shoot your first 5. Now, of course, you have to pay money for all this stuff. Nothing in life is free. Your first nickel qualifies the main bingo card and may randomly award you something like the Magic Lines, but it's increasingly unlikely that it will if you're on a winning streak. the same goes for the extra balls. The machine may or may not give them to you easily with just a few nickels. It may take quite a few to loosen that lifter. So, let's talk about artwork. The artwork on this game, Variety, kind of evokes a variety show. So you've got music and dancing and a stage. You got these great blue and purple curtains in the background, which wrap around this curved stage with lots of ladies that look like they're taking a rest in between dancing. And then one lady in the front who is, in fact, dancing, wearing a top hat, carrying a cane, the whole 9 yards. Out below the stage, there are musical notes and stars rising. Makes it seem like the band is playing right there, doesn't it? I really enjoy the artwork around the magic lines. There's a special insert which lights to tell you if the magic line is in the up or down position, which is pretty handy. One thing about magic lines that makes them a little tricky is that they have physical memory of their last location. So let's say you get the magic lines feature and you move magic line number 1 or column 1 up. Well, you finish your game and start a new one. You don't have magic lines in this new game, and so the magic line 1 jumps back to the default position when you start the game. Your dial on the footrail has not moved, though. It's still in the previous position. And so, let's say you finish that game where you didn't have magic lines and start a new one. This time you do get magic lines. In this case, you shoot your first ball and the first column will jump into the up position. So that's the real only downside. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing. Luckily, because you can reposition them as much as you want until you shoot your fourth ball, it's normally not a problem, but you do have to, look at what you're doing. So let's talk about the cabinet. The cabinet has the beautiful Bally, red, gold, and yellow, and black. The stencil incorporates curtains, a trumpet, flags, stars, musical notes, a cane, and a top hat. It's very attractive and, of course, evokes a variety show. Now, the Playfield has multiple acts going on at the same time, and they're performing in sync with each other, twin acts all the way up. You have the band up at the top, and below that, you have a man and a woman dancing on the left side and the right side. The man is lifting the woman up into the air. Below that, you have two tap dancing ladies in costume with top hats and canes, and that representation of the stage. As usual, very attractive. I would be really happy to play this game at some point, and hope to do so here in the nearish future. In the show notes tonight, I'm going to link to the back page of the flyer for this game, which will show you how the magic lines work. It's a pretty cool flyer. Of course, Bally was very good about describing their new features on each flyer. This one in particular spells things out very well, very clearly, so it's fairly easy to see. Being the first moving numbers feature, I'm sure they were quite excited to get the word out there and make sure people understood the earning potential that these had. The idea being, if you win more, you'll play more. Well, that's the idea of any gambling machine, right? You want to keep people on them. Keep them feeding in money, and the way you do that is that you let them win every once in a while. So, these magic lines are just the first of the moving numbers features which would allow exactly that. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for listening. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, also at Bingo Podcast, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.